Book 3, Chapter 13, Footsteps. It is Saturday morning, and our family is eager to see Mr. Max. My dad has decided that we should go out for lunch first and make it a special day. Who are we meeting? Tiernan asks as he gets up onto my dad's lap. We are going to meet Finnan's new friend. His name is Mr. Max, and he is anxious to meet you. Can we bring Sky Charles and Hemingway for tricks? No, Tiernan. They will stay at home for today. But I was thinking, the place where we are going is a senior's residence, and often they allow people to bring their pets so the residents can talk and play with them. It would be nice if your circus could perform, and then after, you could have Sky and Hemingway meet everyone. That sounds fun. I will bring hoops. My dad can see the excitement in his eyes. He knows that others would appreciate the cute circus my brother has created. I think it's all in the boots. And as I think about his rubber circus boots, I smile, and I get the sense that Sir is smiling as well. Lunch is fun. My mum and dad make each other laugh a lot. It is fun to watch, and I can see that Charles and Limerick do the same with each other. That's how I know they will be a couple one day and married when they get older. Shortly afterwards, we walk into the lobby of the facility, and as Paige looks around, a lady sitting in a chair nearby gently asks, "Are you looking for somebody?" "We are," my dad speaks up. "We are looking for a gentleman by the name of Mr. Max." The lady grins and says, "I do believe all the ladies here are looking for him too." She blushes as she says this, and we all smile. It is obvious she knows who he is. It appears she even has a crush on him. I guess age can do nothing to prevent love. I have never met a girl who could make me blush, well, except for Limerick. But it is nice to see people who are fond of each other. My mum calls it romance. Out from the doorway, Mr. Max appears. He is dressed in fine clothing and standing very tall. His hair is well groomed and his shoes are very shiny. "Hello, everyone," he says in a deep tone. I wave at him as he walks over. I say, "Mr. Max, I brought the entire family. Limerick, Charles, and Baxter will meet us in a bit. This is my dad." Mr. Max extends his hand. "Thank you for spending time with Finnan," my dad says as they shake hands. "It was my pleasure." Mr. Max looks at my mother, and speaking like an old Hollywood movie actor, he says, "You must be the lovely beauty who is the mother of these fine children." My mom extends her hand, and as he holds it, he caresses the back of her hand with a gentle touch. My mom blushes, and not a word is spoken. "And this must be the beautiful Paige I have heard so much about." Paige smiles and is taken back by his smooth language and gestures. "I am," she whispers. "And this must be the famous circus master, Tiernan." Tiernan is so proud to be known. He grins from ear to ear and says, "I am Mr. Max, and I want to show you my circus, if I'm allowed to bring the animals here." It's Mr. Max's turn to grin. "You mean, Tiernan, that we get to watch your show of bravery?" Tiernan smiles as he exclaims, "Yes, my dad wants to help me." Please come and sit down before the others arrive. We each take a seat in the large room that resembles a library. "I want to thank you all for visiting me today. It is very special to have visitors." Paige keeps looking around, not really engaged in the conversation. Mr. Max takes notice. "Fine young lady," he says to her, "please tell me what is on your mind." Without hesitation, Paige speaks up. "I feel like I've been here before," she mutters in confusion. "I know I haven't, but it feels so familiar to me. The furniture, the doorway, and even this chair. They all look familiar." We look at each other in disbelief that she has shared such a thing so openly. Mr. Max replies, "I have felt that way since the first day I walked in. Perhaps we were here together in a dream." I laugh, and we all smile at the thought. Just then Baxter, Limerick, and Charles enter the room. "Hello, everyone," they say cheerfully. My dad and Mr. Max stand to offer a greeting and to bring 3 extra chairs to our group. "I brought you something," I announce with pride to Mr. Max. "Well, my mum brought you something." I pull out from a bag the prettiest plate of cookies my mum has ever made. Mr. Max studies the old-fashioned plate and falls silent. "Is everything okay?" I ask. "They're my mum's cookies." "I can see that, Finnan, and thank you. I apologize for being speechless, but, like Paige, I feel as though I've seen that plate before, and I'm trying to place where." My dad, knowing the plate belonged to his grandmother, asks if he knew her. "No, I don't think so." "Just checking," my dad says, and then shares the story of Sir being part of our family. Stranger things have happened. Mr. Max places a plate of cookies on the table and encourages everyone to have one. "I can't eat these all on my own. I'm going to need some help." Tiernan is the first one to help with the request and asks if he can have one. "Yes," my mum says, "as long as it's okay with Mr. Max." "Certainly. They are celebration cookies to be shared." We all enjoy a cookie and the conversation. To my father, Mr. Max says, "Finnan tells me that you make fine cabinetry and the like, and that you have your shop in the back of your home. Tell me, what was the most extraordinary piece that you have ever created?" My dad ponders for a moment, then he replies, "I do believe it was my last project, a box I made for Edward to store his pocket watch." Mr. Max studies my dad's face. I can feel the tingling in my hands as they are talking. Something is trying to get my attention, but I can't understand it. It might just be my imagination. Paige keeps looking around the room and then focusing in on a painting that hangs above a fireplace mantel. "I have seen this portrait," she says. Her expression is one of confusion as she points to the wall with the painting. My mum gets off her chair to study the picture more closely. It is a portrait of crashing waves against the shoreline, with a lighthouse shining its light outwards across the water. "It's a beautiful painting. I wonder who painted it." She looks for a signature, finds one, then speaks in disbelief. "The signature says Edward John." "Edward John," I respond. "Isn't that Sir's name?" Mr. Max says, "This painting was donated to our facility by a gentleman who would often visit his beloved." "His beloved," I say in a loud voice. "Dad, do you think it really is Sir's painting? Do you think that we may have found his beloved?" "Finnan, please calm down. I think it's a bit too far-fetched," he replies. "Perhaps it's all a coincidence." My hands are tingling. My body is tingling with excitement. "But, Dad, miracles happen, and this could be a miracle." We just stand there, studying the painting. "Did Edward paint?" my mom asks to anyone who is listening. He did have some paintings on the walls of his home, but I never noticed the signature on any of them, my dad answers. As we ponder our discovery, Mr. Mack shares stories of his boyhood. He is the most interesting man. He has a way of making a story really interesting. He should be in the movies. Charles also enjoys the conversation very much. I can tell he is soaking it all in, and that one day Mr. Max will be in one of his books. The afternoon goes by so quickly, the time comes for us all to say goodbye. Thank you very much for the great afternoon, my dad says as he extends his hand to Mr. Max. One by one, Mr. Max looks each of us in the eye to show appreciation for the visit and the gift of conversation exchanged. Please come back another day, he says as he nods his head. We will, Mr. Max, I promise, I reply. I know that when I make a promise, it is my word. Therefore, I never make a promise unless I am certain that I can fulfill what I have said. Being true to your word is a noble thing to do, and a quality that shines in truth of who you are. On our drive home, we can't help but talk about the painting, about Sir and his beloved. I wonder if she lives there, I ponder. Oh, Finnan, please don't get ahead of yourself. We have no idea who Sir's beloved is. It would be a great coincidence if it all fit in. Yes, Dad, but you know miracles happened. It happened with Sir. No one would have believed he was family. Yes, Finnan, I know what you are saying, and I'm on your side. I just don't want you to be let down if it isn't the answer you are searching for. But, Dad, at least we are searching. Yes, Finn, you do have a valid point. We arrive home, and usually at this time, I take Skye and Hemingway for their daily walk. Today, my dad has other plans. He says, Finnan, your mum and Paige will walk Skye and Hemingway. I want to show you something. I am intrigued. I always walk Skye and Hemingway. This must be very important. Come, Finnan, let's go out to the shop. My little brother is eager to go too, and we walk along with quick footsteps, wondering what it can be. We enter the shop where my dad has been working on some projects. Finnan, while I was at Sir's house retrieving the treasure chest, as you call it, I noticed something interesting that brought some questions to mind. I'd like to ask you if you know anything about it, from when you and Sir went through the items in the chest. Dad, we didn't get to the bottom of the chest, just a few things on top before I had to go home. Finn, did Sir show you this book? He asks as he pulls out the book that was in the same box as the diamond. Yes, Dad, he did. He said the treasure was the book more than the diamond. Finnan, this book he showed you is invaluable. Do you remember the story of the peacock feathered pen and the declaration that was signed to give the villagers a section of land? Yes, Dad, I do. He was very pleased to share that story, and he said it happened where he grew up. Finnan, please sit down. My heart is racing. I don't understand what my dad is trying to say. Tiernan pulls up beside me along the bench as my dad places a book in both of his hands. Finnan, Edward had the pen because he was the man who signed the declaration. He signed the declaration, and in doing so, he had given his land over to the village. I still don't understand. Dad, he said he grew up there, but had never returned. I know, son. He never did return. but he does have the recording of the village history written in this book. You see, he wanted you to have not just the treasure chest, but the book inside it as well. What he didn't share with you, Finnan, is that the record-keeping of the book is in his handwriting and written with the peacock feathered pen. Finnan, Sir is the royalty who left the land and did the noble deed. Wow, I say, I guess that is a treasure. Son, what you are not understanding is that this book must go back to the village. Dad, why didn't Sir take the book back himself? That's just it, Finnan. He didn't want to be known by his good deed to others. He wanted to be left anonymous until the day he would cross into the heavens. He has left instructions for us to return the book and the peacock feathered pen to the village. So where is this village? It is in a very remote place, Finnan, a place that is unheard of. How are we going to find it? He has left us instructions and a map, just like an old treasure hunt. It appears to be very secretive. We are to return to the village, and when we do, Sir will be known to the villagers. Dad, can we go? Is it safe? What about Mum? Will we all go? Finnan, Sir has asked that we take the book to the village when you are an adult of the age of 21. My heart feels more at ease. It is overwhelming to think Sir was the man who had signed the declaration. Finnan, we will place the book and the peacock feathered pen in a safety deposit box. There are a few other valuable items that will also be tucked away there. I wanted you to know today because Sir has asked that we keep the information a secret until you can return the book as an adult. Did you tell Mum? I ask. Yes, Finnan, your Mum knows, but it is only information for our family. We must keep it to ourselves to honor Edward's wishes. Wishes, I think to myself again. There is a lot we are finding out about Sir. I thought he was sort of an ordinary man who had great travels, but he was more than that, wasn't he? My dad looks into my eyes and says, Finnan, Edward lived an extraordinary life, but kept his personal matters private. He didn't want recognition for all his good deeds. He liked to be anonymous. I guess that's why he wanted me to call him Sir. My dad smiles and ruffles my hair. Tiernan is happy to be sitting with us, just listening. There he is, Tiernan suddenly announces, pointing to the other side of the bench. Who is there? My dad asks. Sir's angel. My dad and I look at one another. We can't see anything, but to my brother, with such a peaceful and happy expression on his face, we know that he can see something that makes his heart very content. Not long after, we head back inside the house. Mum and Paige have returned from the walk. Sky Charles and Hemingway have matching coats on. Mom, I say with disbelief, why are they wearing those coats? They like them, Finnan, and so did everyone who stopped to praise them. The coats each have their initials on the back. It is cute, but this may be a bit too much. Tiernan chirps in, I like it, Finnan, and they do too. I am outnumbered. I guess I can understand why. Okay, little man, they can wear these outrageous outfits, but only because they are part of your circus. Tiernan crawls onto my lap to give me a hug. What's that for? I ask, because he is getting big to be on anyone's lap. It's because I love you, Finnan. My heart feels big. His words are sincere and from his heart. Thank you, Tiernan. I love you. It is time for supper, and since it's Saturday evening, we decide to have oven-baked French fries and sandwiches. The fries are really good, and my mom can turn an ordinary sandwich into something really delicious. As we eat, we talk about our day and Mr. Max, about how we are getting closer to discovering much more about Sir than we could have imagined. Later that evening, as I rest in bed with my four-legged children, I ponder what life is about. I ponder if I am making a difference like Sir and my dad and my great-grandfather. I think about all the fundraising and events my class participates in. I know that what we do does make a difference, and now it appears that we will be honoring elephants and wildlife on behalf of Sir's contribution.